All right, good people, if you haven't done so already, please make sure that your first and last name is on your packet. Today is the 12th, 12/12/22. This week, our warm-up is going to be the two different sheets that you'll find in the packet. I'm going to grade that as your warm-up for this week. One is going to be on parallel and perpendicular lines. I'm going to abbreviate. And the other sheet is going to be on midpoint, endpoint. Okay. For homework this week, we're just going to work on our project. I'm going to create another help video for the project this afternoon so you can watch the help video on that. Our quarter test is going to be on Wednesday. We have 2 tutoring sessions. The tutoring session this week, both are going to be virtual simply because I have in-person learning with Math 8. So our virtual tutoring will be Monday, today, at 4. And then Tuesday, which is tomorrow, at 4:15. Those are our virtual tutoring sessions. I'll be going over items from that are going to be on the quarter test. Quarter test items will be anything that we covered in first quarter and second quarter, so units 1 and 2. Okay. The last objectives that we have to cover in unit 2 are going to be parallel perpendicular lines, midpoint, and area and volume of shapes on a coordinate plane. Those are the last things that we have to cover for this unit. Okay, and then this unit is completed. Today, the agenda on the board, we're going to go over parallel and perpendicular lines. You have seen that done before, so it should come fairly good for you. Okay, if not, that's okay. We're going to practice. And then there's a group assignment. It's going to be the study guide for the quarter test. So in our group, we have the study guide for the quarter test. I am going to go over the study guide in our tutoring sessions. So you'll already have that, the study guide. So your group assignment is the study guide for the quarter test. And that's what's in this packet, okay? Any questions? We're going to put the study guide, the reason why you don't see it as an item that's due up here, we're going to put it in our notebook because I do want you to be able to keep that so that you can study it for future references. So that's going to be a notebook, a part of our notebook grade, the study guide is. All right, your planner, the goal for this week. All right, so we have, this is the week of the 12th through the 16th. My goal for myself, for this particular class is going to be to make sure that I do help videos for the project and the study guide. Okay, and go over the study guide. That's my goal. You have different goal. Maybe yours is to finish the project or to come close to finishing or to complete the study guide or to come to tutoring. Okay, those are examples of what your goal could be. All right, we're going to find and do a new page. This is week 6. Week 6 is from 12/12 all the way to 12/16. 5 days, including today before our break. Math 1. We have our virtual tutoring today. At 4, make sure that you work on the project and study your notes for your quarter test. You have a study guide, so you can use your study guide to study for the quarter test, okay? Even though we're finished a unit, we're not going to take our test until we come back for the break because we have a quarter test. So I don't want to test twice. So we're going to take our unit test when we come back from our break on the 6th. So January the 6th is your unit test. You can go ahead and put virtual tutoring here as well. But that's not until 4:15 because my tutoring session for in person is not over until 3:50, I think. And again, we're working on our project. All week, you need to be working on your project. Okay, of course, study. I might as well go ahead and complete this. We need to study our notes for quarter tests. Okay, again, for those of you that don't know why we're taking our quarter test at this time, we're on high school scheduling. They do everything by semester. Okay, so that's why our quarter test is not the same time as the school. Okay, all right. Let's do parallel and perpendicular lines. We're going to do parallel lines first. By definition, parallel lines are lines that are in the same flat surface, but they never cross each other. So we got parallel. I'm going to put it at the top. Put the definition at the top. Lines that are in the same plane but never cross. Lines in same plane, same flat surface, that's a plane, but never cross or never intersect. Parallel lines, because they never intersect, parallel lines have the same slope. Parallel lines, they have the same slope. I think I'm almost out of lead. Put a star, super important. Parallel lines have the same slope. They have the same rise over run. They have the same rise over run. That's why they never cross each other. These lines never cross each other because they have the same rise over run, so they never run into each other. Parallel lines have the same slope. Pause for the cause, give you a chance to write. All right, so let's do this first one together. We're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, okay? And that is parallel to the equation that's given, but goes through this point. So first things first, what we do is figure out what the slope of the first line is. The slope of the first line is going to be 3. So the slope of the new line is also going to be 3 because the slopes are the same. Okay? So we're going to use this information to write an equation so that it's parallel to the line that's given. So we already have M, but we need to find B. So in order to find B, you use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay? Any questions about what I've said so far? Any questions about how I identified the slope in this equation? Are there any questions about how I'm getting ready to find B by using the slope-intercept form? Okay. So now we have a point. We're given an X and a Y. We're going to take these numbers and the slope and substitute it in the slope-intercept form to solve for b. So what number are we going to put in the place of y?
7.
7. Bring down the equal. What number are we going to put in the place of m?
3.
3. Okay. This is multiplication here. What number are we going to put in the place of x? The 4. And then we have plus b. So we substitute the information that's given, and now we're going to solve for b. Okay? So now here we bring down the 7. We multiply 3 times 4. What's 3 times 4?
12.
We have 12 plus b. Now we're going to solve for b. How do we get b by itself? Subtract 12 from both sides of the equation. What is 7 minus 12?
-5.
That's -5. Bring down the equal. You got 12 minus 12 is 0, and we're left with what? -5 is equal to b. So now we have an m and we have a b. So then how do we write the equation of the other line? That's going to be y is equal to what? 3x minus 5. This is the equation for that other line. Any questions? Is there anyone that's lost? Okay, see if you can do number 2 on your own, and then I'll go through it with you. See if you can do number 2 on your own, please. Let's see what we got. Okay, so first things first, the equation is written in slope-intercept form, so now we can identify what the slope is. What is the slope of this first equation here? It is 1. So the slope of the other line is also going to be 1. So we're going to use this information. It's going to blow. We're going to use this information to find the b for the second equation. Okay, so let's find b. We use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and substitute the information that we know. This is an x coordinate, this is a y coordinate. What are we going to substitute? What number do we replace y with? 3. What number do we replace m with? 1. What number do we replace x with? -2. Bring down the plus b. Okay. Any questions about how to substitute? Now we're going to solve for b. Bring down the 3, bring down the equal. What does this give us? That gives us -2 plus b. Now what do we do to get b by itself?
+2.
We add 2 or plus 2 to both sides. Very good, baby. What is 3 plus 2? 5. And this is 0, so we're left with b. So how do we write this as an equation? Y is equal to what? Y equals to 1x or x plus 5. Any questions? All right, let's do 3 and 4, please. And then we're moving on to perpendicular lines. Okay, let's look, y'all. All right, first thing we have to do here is identify what the slope is of this line. What is the slope in this equation? 1/2. So the slope of the other equation is also going to be 1/2. Parallel lines have the same slope. We're going to take this information because the second line has to go through this point. So we're going to take this information to find b. Okay? We use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And we're going to substitute the information that's given to find the b. So what number do we replace y with? -5. Good job. Bring down the equal. Then we replace m with 1/2, and we replace x with what? 4. And I can write 4 as a fraction by putting 4 over 1. All right. So this gives me a -5. What's half of 4? 2. Okay. You can multiply straight across. That's 4 on the top, 2 on the bottom. 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. Okay. Bring down the plus, bring down the b. Now what do we do to get b by itself?
-2.
We subtract 2 on both sides. What's negative 5 minus 2?
-7.
Good job, y'all. That's very good. So b here is equal to -7. So we got m and we got b. So how from there do we write the equation?
Y equals 1/2 x -7.
Yes, I don't know where I get that negative from. 1/2 x minus 7. Perfect. Raise your hand if you got that right. Oh, y'all did great. I'm so proud. All right, so here you can identify what the slope is because it's not written in slope intercept form. So, yes, baby. Mhm.
I just didn't put the 4 over 1, but I got the same answer.
No, it's the same thing.
So you don't have to always put the 4.
No, you just multiply. I just did it just to show you how to multiply. That one was easy to do. If it's a number that's not so easy to do, then you might want to just do it like that, multiply straight across. But 4 is easy. All right, so we're writing this in slope intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. That's what I meant to write instead of 2x plus b. So here, in order to get y by itself, we got to move this 2x. How do you move a positive 2x to the other side? You subtract it. So you're going to subtract 2x from both sides. Here, this is gone, and I'm left with y now is equal to, I can bring both of these down. I can't combine them. I'm going to bring down the negative 2x first, and then I'm going to bring down the plus 4. Okay? I didn't. I just moved it to the other side by doing the inverse of adding, which is subtracting. I cannot combine these terms together. They're not like terms, so you just bring them both down. So now the equation is written in y equals mx plus b. Now you can identify what the slope is. What is the slope of this equation? It is -2. So the slope of the other equation has to be -2 as well. We're going to use this information to find b. So we use the slope intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and substitute the information that's given. We're given a point, which means we're given an x coordinate and a y coordinate. What are we going to plug in? What number do we plug in for y? 2. Okay. What do we plug in for m? What do we plug in for x? Good job. So now we're going to solve for b. So to solve for b here, this gives us 2 is equal to, what is this equal?
2.
This is positive 2 plus b. Now what do we do?
Subtract 2.
Subtract 2 on both sides. So what does that give us?
0.
So b is equal to what number?
0.
So my equation is going to be what?
Y equals -2.
Do I have to put plus 0?
No.
No. Okay. Any questions about that? Yes, babe. Yes.
Is it fine if you put plus 0?
Yeah, it's not wrong. Just you probably won't see it as an answer choice. Okay, let's do perpendicular now. Perpendicular lines are lines that cross each other to form 4 right angles. Okay, let me pause. Perpendicular lines. Okay. All right, so perpendicular lines, let's do the definition at the top. Perpendicular lines. They are lines that cross each other to form 4 right angles. They cross to form 4 right angles. We don't have a lot of space, so I'm abbreviating. Okay. All right, so the super important thing about these is that they have the perpendicular slopes have opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay, so I'm going to put a star right here, and we're going to say slopes are opposite. One's a positive, one's a negative, reciprocal of each other. They're opposite reciprocal. Okay? So let's do an example over here, okay? Examples, plural. Ooh, excuse me. Opposite reciprocal slopes. Just spell it. Oh, Jesus. I don't spell it right. At least I know what it is. All right, so my first slope, if my slope of my first line is 2, my opposite reciprocal slope of the other line is going to be a negative because it's opposite. Reciprocal means instead of it being 2 over 1, it's going to be what? 1 over 2. Or, yeah, negative, the opposite part. So this is the slope of one of the lines. This is the slope of the other line. Opposite reciprocal. If the slope of one of the lines is a negative 5 over 7, then what's the slope of the line that's perpendicular to it? Positive 7 over 5. Opposite reciprocal. Okay. First table. Do you have any questions about what it means to be opposite reciprocal? Are y'all okay? 3 of you, Anthony? Okay. Second table, Tan. Do y'all have any issues there, Sierra? Y'all okay? Yes, baby. You got a question? The opposite, yes. So one's positive, one's negative. Anybody else? Miranda, what about here? Samaj, y'all good? James? Okay. Y'all good back here? Lyric, you okay? Are you good, Kylie? You good? All right. Lila, do you understand? Okay. Ian, what about here? Jonathan, y'all good here? Jemiah, David, y'all good? Jesus, you're good? In the back, Genesis, ladies? Okay. All right, so let's move it to how we do this. So now the first thing we do is identify what the slope is. What is the slope of the line that's given? It's negative 5. So now what is going to be the slope of the line that we're going to make that's perpendicular to it? Positive 1 over 5. Opposite, one's negative, one's positive. This is 5 over 1. So the reciprocal 5 over 1 is 1 over 5. Any questions about that? All right, so now we need to find B. So to find B, you use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Use what's given to find B. All right, so what do we substitute for y? So we got negative 1 is equal to, what's m? 1/5 times, what's my x? 2. So we got 2 over 1 plus b. Questions? Now we're going to simplify. I'm going to solve for b. This gives me 2 over 5 plus b. Any questions about how I get negative 1 is equal to 2 over 5 plus b? So now let's get b by itself. How do we get b by itself? How do we get rid of the 2 over 5? We're going to subtract 2/5 from both sides. So what's negative 1 minus 2/5? Negative 1 and 2/5. So b is equal to negative 1 and 2/5. How do I then write this as an equation? Y equals, somebody said, 1/5 x minus 1 and 2/5. All right, see if you can do number 2 on your own, please. All right, so let's try. Okay, so we're writing a line that's perpendicular to the line that's given. First thing you have to do is identify the slope of the line that's given. What is the slope? What's the slope? 2. Very good, babe. So now we have to figure out what would the slope be of the line that's perpendicular to it. It would be, say again, baby, -1/2. One's a positive, one's a negative. That's opposite. Reciprocal of 2/1 is 1/2. Opposite reciprocals. So now we need to find B now. In order to find B, you use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. This is your x, this is your y. Use the information as given to find B. What number do we substitute for y? 3. Very good, Miranda. Bring down the equal. What do we substitute for m? -1/2. What do we substitute for x? -5/1 plus b. So this is going to give me 3. This gives me +5/2 plus b. Any questions about that? Okay. If it's easier for you to write it as a fraction, you can do that. What's 5 divided by 2? What's 5 cut in half? 2.5. Okay. So now how do I get b by itself? Subtract the 2.5. Subtract the fraction. If it's easier for you to keep it as a fraction, do what feels easiest for you. Look at your answer choices. If the answer is a fraction, keep it as a fraction. If the answer is a decimal, change it to a decimal. What is 3 minus the 2.5? 0.5 or a half. So now how do I write this as an equation? Y equals -1/2 x or 1/2, right? You can write it as a decimal or you can write it as a fraction. Raise your hand if you got that right. Perfect. Y'all did amazing. Okay, so now I need you to do the last two on your own. Do not forget, let's go down and look at numbers 4 before I turn you loose. This has to be written in slope-intercept form. Okay, how do I write this in slope-intercept form? What am I going to do to get y by itself? What do I move first over here? Subtract the 4x. So on this side, the 4x is gone. You're left with 7y. Bring down the equal. Bring both terms down. They're not like terms, so you bring them both down. Doesn't matter which one you write first. Now what are you going to do to get y by itself? Divide every single thing by 7. Who's that? I don't know, baby. You sit right here. Is that water yours, babe? Okay. There you go. All right, so we have 7 divided by 7. That gives you 1y. Bring down the equal. Then we have the fraction -4/7x. And then we have the fraction 3/7. So now from here, you should be able to figure out what is the slope. What is the slope of this equation? -4/7. What's going to be the slope of the other equation then? +7/4. So now we have to find B by using the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. What do we substitute for y? -7. Very good. Let me make sure this looks like a -7 because it does not. Bring down the equal. What do we substitute for m? 7/4. What do we substitute for x? -4 over what? 1. And then plus what? B. All right, so this gives me -7 is equal to, this is -28 on the top over 4. What's -28 divided by 4? This is -7. So this is going to be -7 here. plus B. Now what are we going to do to solve for B? Get rid of this by adding 7 on both sides. Very good, Jonathan. Okay. And this is going to give me what here? 0. It's equal to what? B. So now how do I write this as an equation?
Y equals 7 over 4x.
Y equals 7 over 4x. Okay. I need you to do number 3 on your own. Any questions? All right. All right. So what's the slope of the line that's given? What's the slope of the line that's given? -4. So M is -4 of this line. Okay, what's going to be the slope of the line that's going to be perpendicular to it? +1 over 4. Good job. So now we know the slope. We got to find B. Okay, we use the slope-intercept form to find B. What are we going to substitute for Y? -4. Very good. What are we substituting for M? 1/4. Good, Miranda. What are we substituting for X? We're substituting 4. And then plus B. Okay. All right. So now we get -4 on this side. Bring down the equal. What does this give us? We got 4 over 4. What's 4 over 4? It's 1. So we got +1 plus B. Now what do we do to get B by itself? Say again, baby. Subtract 1 on both sides. Okay. So what is that going to give us? -5 equals B. And so what's my equation for the line that's perpendicular? Y equals 1 over 4x minus 5. Good job. Raise your hand if you got that right. Okay, very good. Ashni, you didn't get this one? Did you get this? Okay. Anthony, did you get this one? I see your hand either. No? What happened, baby?
I got mixed up on the part where the X part.
Okay. All right. Do you need to see another one or are you going to be okay? How are you feeling? Okay. Just let me know, okay? All right. Turn to the back page. The last page is the study guide. I want you to work on this with the people that are at your table. Please take out your interactive notebook. This is going in your interactive notebook, okay? I will give you time to complete, but I want you to get as much done as you possibly can. I need you to answer the questions in your interactive notebook, okay? Questions, comments, or concerns about what I'm saying?
Is this how we're gonna be doing for class?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. All right. As you have questions, I will be more than happy to answer your questions. You do have people at your table that you can consult. Lyric, what's wrong? Can you tap her, Kylie, please? Come on. This is going to be page 24 in our notebook. Q2, page 24. This is Q1 study guide. It seems crazy that I'm saying that, so I can say Q1/Q2 study guide because these are concepts from both quarters. Okay, copy and answer the questions on a separate piece of paper. Okay, so some people had a question about the very first one. You said there are 2 cell phone companies, Company 1 and Company 2. So for number 1, I'm going to put Company 1. I'm going to abbreviate. I'm going to just put Comp 1, and then I'm going to put Comp 2, okay? So first company says that it charges 50 cents per hour. That's a rate, 50 cents per hour. That's my M. So my M here is 50 cents, right? Per hour. Then it says that the service call for $20. You automatically have to pay $20 for just calling to set up this service. So that's B. Very good. So then the equation here is Y is equal to what? 0.50 plus 20. Okay. So now let's look at company 2. Company 2 charges 10 cents per hour and 50 cents for a service call. So for company 2, what's my slope and what's my y-intercept? Point 10 is which one? The M is the slope or my rate of change. And what's my starting amount? 50. So how do I write this as an equation? Y equals 0.10x plus 50. Any questions about how I got that? Okay. So now the first thing it's telling us to do is write a next now equation. So remember, we can say starting at what number do we start at? How much do we start paying? You start paying $20, and how much do you have to add every single time? So it's going to be next equals the now what? Plus 0.50 or 0.5. This is my next now for company 1. What's my next now for company 2? We're starting at 50. And next equals now plus 10 cents every single time. You got it? Okay. All right. That's A. So now you're doing B. Okay. Samaj, you okay with that? You sure? Okay. It's just saying for B, it's all it's asking you for is it's saying write the rule. We already wrote the rule, the equation. Uh, for the company, the total cost is T. So that means T instead of Y, T is equal to 50 cent. What letter do they want you to use for X? Hours plus 20. That's for company 1, right? Then how do I write it for company 2? T equals bless you, baby. Do you see it now?